I'm Andrew Clay. I'm originally from the Bahamas. I've been in the United States now approximately 40 years. I've had several tastings of water. Been diagnosed with cancer about a year ago, and discovering the cancer was a sort of a form of the water that came through the lines of my house. I discovered about this water through Mike, who happens to be my neighbor. We were talking about what was going on. He explained the program and what God had given him and created. And so we gave it a try. And from then, it's been nothing but excellence. I had the water in my home before AquaOx tested. It was so contaminated, it's incredible. It actually surprised me. It answered the questions that my doctor had, because I had been diagnosed with cancer and they could not figure out where the lymph nodes came from and how they were infected. We discovered that it was through the water, contrary to what other people may think. In that water is extreme contamination. AquaOx was introduced to me through the testing of the water, looking at the testing of the original water that came through my house and that we drank. It was terrible. We bought water, to drink, but it's only a temporary situation with that water because we're bathing in the dirty water. We are boiling the dirty water and drinking it through the day. And we discovered that the AquaOx water, after the system was placed into our home, was so pure. And I'm one that drinks water from the tap, so it's so tasty and it's always cool. It was explained to me about AquaOx. I'd never seen a demonstration of the water. I'd never even considered water. I remember one of my sons bought a purifier. There was so much work to be done, so many things have to change and so much you have to keep up with. I didn't want to be bothered with that. As a matter of fact, I didn't even think it'd make a difference until my body had been contaminated by the water. Being explained to by the sales representative of AquaOx, and I saw the demonstration of what he did. Is nothing other than miraculous with what this organization, what this equipment does in my home. And I got one immediately. The installation of the AquaOx is so simple because I've got properties that I do plumbing work with. This is the most simple thing that I've seen, is simply water in and water out. It's connecting under the house. My own is under the house. It can go into any area you want it to. You can put it in your garage, whatever. I decided to put it under my house. So the connection was so simple. It's a matter of connecting it and having a plug in an area that you can put a plug into and running the water, cutting on the system. It has a backwash. I've directed the backwash that in the early hours of the morning, it backwashes and cleans itself out and goes into my lawn. In the area in which this water is coming, the lawn is greener than the normal area that I'm watering through the city. So it's really very simple. I've been using AquaOx now for about a year. It's been pleasant, it's been good. Complexion is really cleared up. Our grandchildren that suffered from a lot of pimps and stuff on their face is no longer suffering from that. As a matter of fact, our daughter comes by and fills up 5-gallon containers and take it back to the house instead of purchasing water as she did in the time past. It's working considerably, and we're looking at the possibility of acquiring one for our house also. The results have been astronomical. As I've stated before, the water is better tasting. The atmosphere around the home is better because now you don't have to be running to the fridge, because generally we don't drink real cold water. It's bad for the body itself. So now you can drink the water directly from the tap itself. I don't know how to explain it other than to say that this water is sweet. The water suddenly changed the taste, and all the contaminants that were in the city water no longer exist there. The stinking chemicals that you can smell that contaminated the water so badly no longer was there. So drinking water now becomes more enjoyable than it was in the past. That's the effect in my house. I've got everybody in my house drinking more water now because our AquaOx system is there. It's a clean, healthy living. As a matter of fact, I'm a pastor over several churches, and my congregation I've instructed about this water and recommend it highly. that they purchased the equipment themselves. Wherever I go, I talk about this water. I'm on the radio, I talk about the water. Because the water is so effective. It's literally, and I mean this, literally changed their lives. There's no doubt about it. I'm a pastor of several churches, and I've recommended it in my congregation. I've talked about it wherever I go, about this water, because it's distributed in the different places. I tell you what impressed me most of all when I discovered that the water was taken to Michigan at the time that they were having that massive water problem. The system was taken there and installed in several of the churches there. And there were people that were coming to the church and getting water from the church. The return is so massive and the reports are so great. It moved me. If I had not had one in my house, I would have gotten one from the report alone. So yeah, I'd recommend this to anybody. I think it's a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous product. I'd recommend, if you have not tried this, even to just see an example of how, a demonstration. I saw the demonstration where the water was taken from the lines that came from the city into the home. I saw a demonstration of testing of the water. In the testing of the water, the contaminants of the water and the chemicals of the water made the water red. I also saw in that same red water where the contaminants existed, the demonstrator put his hand into that water. In a matter of a nanosecond, all the chemical had been sucked up into his system and left the water. It's a demonstration of the impurities that's going into every individual's body that the public is putting into the water lines now. I'd greatly recommend you get rid of it as quickly as possible, because maybe you may not feel it now, but later you may, and then it may bring some kind of contaminant into your body that can cause destructive. I recommend you try as quickly as possible to get one of these products in your home.